Very good afternoon, everyone sitting here. Very good afternoon, the honorable jury members. I'm going to present Learners Community Mix Approach of Jaipuria Institute of Management, and I'm calling it Jaipuria's Tries with Mission-Driven Student Mix. So what I'm talking about is the student mix, which actually promotes learning. So the basic questions that we keep on asking is that why do we teach? The answer is that the students would learn, and that's why we teach. So teaching per se is not the objective. The objective is that the students learn. And if the students fail to learn, then the employability gap occurs, rest of the problems that occurs. So Jaipuria actually enshrined this learning credo in its mission, and the mission is very central to our entire program. And it actually talks about the stability, strategic mindset that comes from their collegial environment is very important for achieving the mission objectives. And the process and the system and the leadership, the institutional support, these are all very important elements. It reflects in the teaching quality, and it talks about the evidence of learning. It talks about innovative curriculum, impact of research, and engagement with business community and society is very critical to our mission. And that's why our admission process also has to be accordingly designed. So what we are talking about is learning as the central theme. So these are some of the basic premises on which the learning design is designed in Jaipuria. The first is that the learning is the result of appropriate teaching. So if there is no appropriate teaching, there is no learning. So it's actually how we teach is actually the indicator of how the students learn. So that's the first premise. Second is that learning is transformative. If the learning is not changing the life of students, there is no point in learning. And therefore, if you miss somewhere on this, the students are not going to be employable, students are not going to stand in their life of their own. So it has to be transformative. And third, formal classroom learning gets better when reinforced with non-formal. So it has to be a combination of inside classroom and outside classroom. So we have taken note of this, cognizance of this, and the research says that how we learn in our life is about 70% outside the classroom and about 30% inside the classroom. So it has to be a good mix that we have to create between formal and informal learning. And investment in faculty development enhances students' learning and success. Our faculty actually knows economics, they know marketing, they know HR, but do they know how students learn? So that's a very critical question that we would like to focus on. And here the capacity creation is an important point. So what is called learners community mix? So learner community mix is that when we look at the socio-economic background from where our learners are coming, that's number one. And it is inclusive rather than exclusive. So we are not asking the questions that, whom to reject. We are asking the question whom to select. So that's, the diverse traits and attitude and different variety of opinions that is combined together is called the community mix. And why it is important? Because it increases learnability, that the research suggests, and it also inculcates something called the lifelong learning. So it supports these two aspects very well, and that's why the learning community mix is important for us. There are two challenges that we have faced and we have been facing. How to attract the first generation learners, that's one challenge in order to create the learner community mix. And the second is that how to attract the students from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So basically because of the accessibility of the higher education, the tier 2, tier 3 city students are coming in large numbers. So how to accommodate them into the entire framework? That's the inclusive system that we have. Assumption one is that the greater the cultural mix, the structure, and the better the learning environment. So that's the one assumption we have been working on. And second is that what any student can learn, almost all students can learn, provided we create the conditions of learning. So learning is an indicator of conditions of learning. So our entire focus of how we design our learning program is to create that conditions. We understand that conditions of learning, and we try to create that conditions of learning so that the students learn. And the presumption is that any student can learn if those conditions of learning are created within the system. So that's the very strong assumptions on which we have been working. And we are taking cognizance of learning cycle and the learning style of the students, because these are the indicators of how the students are going to learn. So unless you understand what is the style of the students, which social background they are coming from, what has been their learning practices earlier, it's not possible to create learning environment or learning conditions for the students. So there has to be a lot of research goes into understanding the student, how they learn, and what is their learning cycle tells us. So there are three components of this program. One is called the pre-campus, on-campus, and post-campus. So in the pre-campus, what we do is that we have created a continuous learning program we offer to the student. Even before they join us, they are offered this program. and there is a business-oriented project that they are involved in, and they are coming with some business idea of their own, and they start exploring, and that's how they generate interest. So when they are on the campus on day one, we know that they are into it because they have actually been exposed to or started thinking about the business. On campus, we are giving them a lot of support like mentoring, counseling. Individual development program is very unique to our system, wherein we work on each and every student separately, and beyond classroom program, for which the IIM Ahmedabad has written a case study on us, and special support to slow and fast learner. It's a policy that we have created. How do we look at the slow and fast learner? How do we support them inside the classroom and outside the classroom? Post-campus, the association goes beyond 2 years. We have a doctoral program in place, so the students, alumni, they come back and join us, and on-campus engagement of alumni is very huge. And mission-focused admission criteria, you see, diversity has been added as one of the criteria here in the entire scheme of the thing. Apart from the case analysis, the case analysis are basically ethical case dilemma that we give to them, and this is where we understand what their thinking process and all. And this is the kind of student community mix that we have. Gender diversity is very good, 49 to 51% girls and boys. Cultural diversity, students are coming from almost like east, west, north, south, 20 plus states and 200 districts. Diversity in terms of academic streams, the first generation learner mix is about 30%. The city mix is about, majority of the students, we are receiving is from tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and work X mix. The skill focus is basically on developing resilience, grit, perseverance, and sound mental state. Here I would like to mention that we have developed the specialization in happiness and well-being research program. So we are offering this course, a module, 3-credit module to the students on happiness and well-being, a lot of programs that we do for them in order to create that mental balance and good mental state to be a good learner. Reaching out to learner across geography, we are using OTT platform, and the idea here is that be where the student is. So we are trying to reach out to the student wherever they are through the OTT platform, which is becoming a very successful effort for us. So that's how we are doing. And testimony of success, we look at in terms of academic successes, almost like 200 plus students won every year. They won awards at different IIM, IITs, different platforms. Research excellence, we have about 30 plus students writing research paper in PRJ journal with the faculty every year. Job and career success, we have about 80% of return on investment as far as the students' placement CTC is concerned. Alumni success story, I can talk about it at length. Faculty training is very important for us, and we are spending almost like 1 crore every year on faculty training, because unless the faculty is trained to understand the socio-economic cultural background of students and how the learning works and how the pedagogy works, this is not going to work very well for us. So one of the example I am presenting in front of you is a case study of Soumya Gupta, and she has been able to publish, it's a small town girl, and she has been able to publish a paper in PRJ journal. 4 key learnings. So
8 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine. So there are 4 key learnings. Diversity is a clue. Diversity is the key to learning for the 21st century learning, and the creating right mix depends on the conditions of learning. That's the second learning. Third is mission is important and central, and faculty development is critical. Thank you so much.